listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Hey, thanks for tuning in again. I'm having some thoughts. Some strong thoughts, and that's my cue to sit down and record some from you because you guys keep telling me how much you like podcasts. So here I am with some more strong thoughts. Someone wrote me yesterday about how things weren't going well because she was experiencing major contrast. Actually, you know what? Pretty much everyone writes me because of that. People don't seek out an LOA coach unless they think there's something gone wrong in their manifesting process. So almost every email I get, other than the ones from clients where we're celebrating successes that they're creating, pretty much every other email I get is about contrast this, contrast that, this gone wrong, that gone haywire, car broke down, loan didn't get approved, sweetheart left, house didn't close, got sick, something's lost, money's gone, boss is mean, bunch of crap in everywhere. I get a lot of those emails. And you know what? A lot of us, I say us because this happens to me sometimes too. We sometimes forget the role of contrast. This does not mean that we are doing anything wrong. It isn't a sign of our manifesting failure. It isn't. Some of the things I say to my own self when things are going sideways, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? This shouldn't be happening. I know better than this. Where did I drop the ball? And I know some of you think the same things because I read them in your emails that you write me. So I know how easy it is for us to feel like we've taken a misstep when something is going seriously wrong. But the truth is, you are not doing something wrong. You are not doing anything wrong when you experience contrast. It is not a failing or a sign of our bad manifesting skills. That is not what contrast means. It is an essential part of life. Without it, we're goners. Because if we're not having contrast, it means we're back on the other side of the veil where we're enjoying perfect, joyful, eternal love and bliss. Contrast is our game here. It's part of living life as a human on planet Earth. And if we are paying any attention at all, we will experience it. It's by design. It's on purpose. Without it, the whole system falls apart. So contrast is not to be wished away. It is not to be judged as a failing. And we certainly aren't shooting for the day when nothing ever goes wrong again and we live perfectly, happily ever after in eternal joy and ecstasy. That's not realistic or even ideal. Because no contrast basically means no life, no expansion. When you stop having desires, and when desires stop, expansion stops, and it's all downhill from there. Downhill, not in the good way, but in the end of the roadway. Although, let's face it, that's not a bad thing either. I shouldn't judge death because that's apparently a lot of fun too, according to what our spiritual teachers tell us on the other side of all this. But for those of us here and now, desires, that's the name of the game. And desires come from contrast. So it is not wrong. It is not a failure when we experience what we don't want. It's a launching point. It's step one, as Abraham says. These teachings are straight from Abraham and they resonate with me fully. This feels right and true to me. That contrast is what makes us want something. And it's the wanting something that makes life expand. And that expansion comes from, we get to experience that expansion in our awareness of what our 3D life is when we release our grip on that contrast and we go with the expansion, we go with the new desire, where we let life get even better than it was before the contrast happened. But life doesn't get better without that contrast. So you could say the contrast is worth celebrating. In fact, didn't I do a podcast on how all my best stuff came from crap? I might have. I know I have a blog post on it. If I didn't do one, I should. Well, here it is. This is the podcast. All my best stuff came from crap. All my best manifesting stories came on the heels of dark, dark times. The darkest. All my best. I'm like, why don't I have any fabulous manifesting stories anymore? Oh, it's because I haven't had those crazy, crazy contrast experiences. Because I know when to let the brakes off of the contrast. I know when it's getting a little more than I like it. I didn't used to know that I could modulate it. But yes, high contrast means strong expansion. And the worse the problem, the bigger the solution, and the better life is on the other side of all that crappy crap stuff. You guys know my crappy stories, right? Like when I had that breakdown, went to bed, or when I practically got fired, or how often people get sick and that's what inspires them to a whole new level of health. We see examples of this all the time. The bottom line is that if we judge it, whatever we judge, we're in resistance to it. And resistance keeps us in it. Hello. I'm going to refrain from making any political statements right now. I'm so proud of my editing capabilities. So yes, it's worth saying yes to contrast when it comes up. I know that's easy for me to say right here and now as I'm sitting pretty. Life is feeling pretty good right now. But the more we can at least make peace with contrast, or, just like chalk it up to a step one moment, as Abraham says. That's all it takes to not get stuck in it. It's like, yay, step one, I'm doing it, go me. I'm engaged with life, I'm coming up with new preferences, and that means life is about to get even better. As soon as I'm done with this crap, which I am in charge of how long I'm going to experience it that way. I can let it get really bad, or I can find the thoughts that take the pain and the pressure out of it. I decide when that happens. The bottom line, what I'm trying to say here is that contrast is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you messed up. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean you're no good at this conscious creation stuff. Because we weren't meant to be in a state of 24/7 joy anyway. We came here for the full range of feelings and emotions. And it's the contrast that fuels your next dream come true anyway. So maybe the next time you're emailing me, let's celebrate some contrast, because it really is the true unsung hero of our stories, right? We've made it out as the bad guy, but there's nothing good that's going to happen without it. And yes, let's all remember, Abe says we don't have to endure any more of it in order to have fabulous, amazing lives. Don't they say something like, you've experienced enough contrast in your lifetime to fuel 20 or 30 more lives? I agree, I get it. But when we do have contrast, let's not treat it like an unwelcome visitor or something gone wrong. In fact, Nancy Berry Jansen wrote me a fabulous guest post. Oh my gosh, the title of it. Let me see if I can remember. Something like say yes to invite your problems to stay. I think that's it. On my blog, goodvibeblog.com, if you look for Nancy Berry Jansen in guest posts, or I think it's called Invite Your Problems to Stay. Oh, really great post. Okay, I don't mean to get sidetracked, but what I want to express here is that even when it seems like things aren't going fabulous, even when it seems like they are in fact going the opposite of fabulous, the truth is life is still working out perfectly. It really is. That's not like a tricky Pollyanna perspective. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. We all know, as Rob Adams said, Pollyanna was not a naive optimist. She was a badass who bent reality to her will. But what I mean is that contrast is required fuel for the good life. So when you've got it, it means you're doing it right. How do you like that thought? Doesn't that feel way better than what you might have been thinking? Like wondering, why haven't you learned by now? Why are you still doing it wrong? Those thoughts, not nice or helpful or true. The next time something goes AWOL or sideways in my world, I'm just going to remember, hey, I'm doing it right. Look at me go. Yay, contrast. Yay, expansion. Yay, me. And look, I know to feel those feelings out proper and fully, like Frank Butterfield says, squeeze all the feeling out of it that I can, and then get back to good whenever I can, whenever it's time. Get back to appreciating and enjoying and expecting good things, and universe will pay me off in spades for that contrast that I was willing to engage however long I engage it for. So I hope this is a helpful reminder to anyone who thinks contrast is a sign of things gone wrong. It's not. It means you're doing it right. And you do get to be in charge of how much you're going to hang out there. That might be a different podcast in itself, but I just wanted to really reiterate a proper perspective on what contrast really means. Hope you got something out of this. Thanks for listening, and happy manifesting.